This is the final arrangement in the spring series using materials from my garden. Today we'll be looking at a Moribana that looks like traditional Moribana using sprouting hydrangea branches, Chinese ground orchid, and club moss. This is a middle view, upright style arrangement. You will see that we don't have all the required materials to make the traditional Moribana, so we will substitute with some alternate materials. We will use a 3-ring sheep-bow and a 2-ring sheep-bow to secure the materials in place. The container is a black ceramic 12-inch diameter suiban. I should also note that I've seen a alternate sheep-bow arrangement where on the top left there's a 2-ring and a 1-ring sheep-bow, and then on the bottom right there's a 3-ring sheep-bow. Sprouting hydrangea from my garden will be used to create the subject clump. This hydrangea was planted about 3 years ago. It's called Let's Dance Rhythmic Blue and is a reblooming hydrangea. It blooms on last year's growth as well as this year's. Since my soil is a bit more alkaline, the mop heads tend to be more on the pink side. These branches, however, were cut early in the season and had just started to sprout leaves. For the shishi or subject branch, we'll be using the standard measure and inserting into the large opening of the sheep-bow at almost an upright but slightly back angle. Secured in place with small cut pieces of the stem, and it's okay that they stick up a little higher from the sheep-bow because we'll be covering that up a little bit later. The fukushi is the standard length, about 2/3 the length of the shushi. I insert it in the large opening in the front of the sheep-bow. It's angled down at 45 degrees and to the left at 30. The subject and secondary are inserted in the same holder to give the appearance of a tight clump. I'll now continue to add some additional branches, so we get a total of 5 branches in this subject clump. It can be a better practice to trim off the bud tips and show only the sprouting leaves at the top of these branches. I also probably could have waited another week or so to do this arrangement and the leaves would have been just a little bit more full. For the object clump, we will substitute a combination of lily of the valley and freesia instead of the required Chinese ground orchid, since I don't have that available to me. Ideally, we would be using Blatilla striata. It's also known as the hyacinth orchid or Chinese ground orchid. It's a hardy orchid, even down to zone 5 in the US, and is native to Japan, China, and Korea. I haven't tried to grow this orchid yet, but I'll probably order some to plant in the spring. If I'm successful, I'll probably have to wait a few years for the clump to grow big enough before I have enough so that I can harvest some for these arrangements. We'll get back to completing the Kyakushi clump in a few minutes, but first we'll put some of the green Dianthus in under the shippo so that when we put more in later, there's something for the material to cling to and not just drift away. We'll complete the Kyakushi clump with Freesia. I'll trim the trailing flower buds off so that I only have a few larger buds on the stem. This hopefully will give a little bit of a feel of the hardy orchid. Since this is a middle view, we put the flowers in shorter than what the Chinese orchid would actually look like if you were standing right in front of them. So imagine them a little further away from you, and that's the feeling we're going for. I'm going to get back to working on the ground cover. This is going to take a while, so we're going to speed up this section. But you'll see the process I use to carefully break apart the Dianthus head into smaller clumps and then carefully fill in the ground cover area. I am substituting the green Dianthus for ground cover. However, if we were to try to do the traditional Moribana, we would need to use a material called club moss. At this point, you can start to notice the surface area where the ground cover is. This is a spring arrangement, so we show a little bit more water than we do for the winter arrangement and a little less water than what we would show for summer. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. If you value this content and would like to see more, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. Until next time, take care and try Ikebana yourself.